Hello, everybody, and welcome to Formula Fords on Monday night at this new time of 7:45 GMT. We're here at the Winton Motor Raceway on the full national circuit, but we say full. It still feels like a little bit of a go-kart track around here, which means it's going to be technically difficult for these Formula Ford drivers here tonight. As it is week 8, it's last week where no drop rounds will come into effect for these drivers. So we'll see exactly how they get on very, very shortly. We're currently just in their qualifying session, so we'll go ahead and take a look. Having a look to see who is around on the circuit. We're on board here already with, if I can find out who it is. There's the session status. 4 minutes still to go. It's Jake Williams who's managed to put himself onto the front row with his first lap. See who else is out there on a lap. Alex Istad coming into his second flying lap. It looks like he's currently in third place. The Yona Marku has just popped himself up into second place. That's a great start by Marku on his first lap, just under 126 by 1,000th of a second. See who else is on this grid and doing a lap time at this moment in time. Steve Willis hasn't joined the session right now, so that's one driver who will not be out there qualifying at this moment in time. It's Ossie Turker who's on pole position at the moment. Will he be able to improve it on his second lap? Have a look as he comes through the corner now. Keeps it within track limits, misses the curb on the right hand side. Perfection there by Turker. Takes the shortest run to the line. Will he improve his qualifying time as he comes across the line? It does very slightly, but then Zane and Mikey Pollard sticks it on pole position. What a lap that is by the Brit who's just put it in there. Zane Khan also did. Jake Williams goes onto the front row. The Finns are falling down the order. Just got Yonu Marku coming round final corner now. Will Marku be able to put one of the Finnish drivers back on the front row? Ista goes third. Ista goes up into third place. And Marku across the line. It hits the front at 25.3. He's 0.3 of a second ahead of everybody else. What a lap there by Jarno Marku to stick it on pole position. If anybody else is still there, we know Jake Williams has finished his laps. Yi Chen is on their second lap at this moment in time. Normally in the top 5 or 6 drivers, especially in qualifying. So let's see how Chen does, the number 10 car here today. Certainly not a rookie on board the car, shall we say. Heads down towards the final corner. Or the final couple of corners. It's quite easy, just 2 90-degree corners by now. From now. Oh, and missed the apex on the first one. Hits the apex on the second one. Gets on the power, a little bit disturbed to drive the curb. Coming across the line. Chen will improve the time, will he? Have to wait for timing to catch up. No improvement there. Gallego coming across the line. Seen him in a few soft races so far. Does he improve? No improvement there for Gallego. And Brandt, who's out on what looks like his second lap now. Just coming a lot further around the circuit than everybody else is. He will finish this lap. He's got time. Seeing through the tight technical hairpin sections. 3 hairpins in a row, very short runs into them. Last one is a bit of a decision whether you want second or first gear for it, depending on how you've set up your car. So through the left-hander, and now taking that same run as everybody else down to the final corner. Walter Brandt is going to see whether he can put it into the top 10. He's currently P15. Looks nice, a little bit clip of a curb there, a nice run out the corner, doesn't take the shortest run to the line, heads towards the middle of the track. He's going to come across the line, and is it an improvement for Brandt? No improvement. So the second lap, not always the answer for these drivers this time round. Henrique Beselli, who is there and not having a time on the board at the moment in time, might start from the back of the grid here. But the session's just about to finish, so it's just a bit of practice for the Brazilian. That is the end of our qualifying session. 8 minutes gone, the drivers will start to grid up now, so let's have a look at the grid for this Formula Ford soft race at Winton Raceway. Jarno Marku is on pole position, 3/10 of a second ahead of Mikey Pollard. Jake Williams and Alex Ister take up the second row. Ossie Turker and Zane Khan with a great lap there to put it on to the third row. Graham Hunt and Zhishen, two experienced runners in this off race, on the fourth row, from Ronald Defoe and Stephen Strudwick rounding out your top 10. Marcel Schueski and Jorge Rodriguez on the next row from Gallego, and Frederick Surley, a terrible qualifying for the Norwegian driver. He'll be looking to come through the field from there. Walter Brandt and Hans Mattel Pitchler are on the next row ahead of Albert Kajela and Zane Anwar. Steve Willis and Henrique Beselli are on the final row. A full grid of 20 cars here today for this soft race. See the drivers all lining up on the grid. It's a bit of a weird grid because there's not really a staggered start to it, so there's not a huge amount gained by the pole position man over the second place. It is actually down to which side of the grid you want to be on. Pollard there on the racing line, and then you have Marku there on the left-hand side of the grid going down towards turn 1. Waiting for everybody to finish gridding up. The lights are on. Marku against Pollard at the front. Who's going to get away first? And we're away here in Winton. It's a good start by the pole man, who moves it up into past Pollard quite clearly, and will take the lead into turn number 1. Third will be Jake Williams from Ister. Khan has managed to get past Ossie Turker into 5th place, so bad start for the Finnish driver we know has plenty of pace. So we'll see how that goes on. By the looks of it, one driver started from pits, who is Zane Anwar. But it is currently Marku who leads from Pollard, Williams and Ister, Khan, Turker, Hunt up in 7th, Chen 8th, Defoe 9th, and Strudwick in 10th place as they come into the technical sections of the circuit. Currently can't see a lot of movement right now. Everybody's just trying to get their lines, trying to get into some kind of rhythm around this Winton Park circuit. It's very difficult to get a nice rhythm going through these S-bends as they now head on the fastest part of the circuit up towards the left hand of it, heads you back towards the pits. Everybody's sort of getting through there at this moment in time. Go on board with Jake Williams in 3rd place. We've got a crash near the back. Brandt and Willis has been off, and Mattel Pitchler has been off as well on this opening lap, which we'll get back to a little bit later on. But as they come across the line to start lap number 2, it is Marku, followed by Pollard, followed by Williams, Ister, and then Zane Khan up in 5th place. The top 6 have a little bit of a gap, with Graham Hunt trying to hang on to the back of them, as Steve Willis has actually entered pit lane. So Steve Willis with some damage from that opening lap, a meatball, and Mattel Pitchler with a black flag. I'm presuming that will be for either cutting a corner or for a jump start. And actually Willis has a penalty, black flag as well, for being in the pits too quickly, and while back in the pits as well. So exciting start near the back of the field where it's been nice and calm near the front. Back on board with Jake Williams now, who is just trying to find his way past Mikey Pollard. It feels like he's got the pace. Top three have left a bit of a gap to the next three, and it is 3 by 3 at this moment in time with Strudwick in 10th, trying to get back. So we've got Hunt off the track. I just saw him falling down the field. Let's have a look what's happened here. He's just downshifted too quickly. Managed to hold it, but goes off track and rejoins down in 13th place. Having a look here in the battle for 4th place, Zane Khan having a look at Alex Ister down into turn number 1. Will he make it round the outside of the corner? No, he won't. Khan actually gets a bit of a wobble on, and that allows Turker back through. So the experience of Turker reading that situation well ahead of Zane Khan. Board with Zane Khan now, just getting back into his rhythm, looking to try and get back on the back of Aussie Turker. Marku had a bit of a timing issue there, so I'm not sure what's going on there. As the race develops, if that is just a general timing issue, or which I think it is, because Marku is first, Williams is in 2nd place. Jake Williams managed to get past Mikey Pollard, and let's have a look. Down into turn number 3, Williams just gets the run. Pollard just lets him go and takes the position, and then I think Marku has a bit of a blink through one of these corners, which sets the time in, thinking he's disappeared. Oh, we've got a car slow on the inside. I think that could be Zane Anwar or Steve Willis. I think it's Zane Anwar letting the field go through. So back at the front, it is stretched out, but that's Aussie Turker. Where has Aussie Turker suddenly found some pace from? He's closed right in on Alexander Ister after Zane Khan failed with his attempt beforehand, and we go on board with the Finn now, who's going to have a right go at the Norwegian to try and get through nice and early, or he will not have a chance, because he can see his Finnish counterpart Jarno Marku just pulling away there at the front. I don't know why I have my names so tongue-tied tonight, but we'll see. So Marku leads from Williams, Pollard, then there's this battle of Ister versus Turker. This is why you won't see Pollard fighting straight back at Williams, because he doesn't want to bring these two involved. Khan has just dropped slightly off the back of these, not by much though, as we see the drivers come through the third of those hairpins in the midfield. Have a quick look back. Graham Roy Hunt there, down in 15th place. It's going to be hard to find his way through from there, especially around this twisty circuit. And hopefully he hasn't got any damage. But the Hesketh silver livery looking great in the sun here at Winton Park. Actually, it looks more of a battle in front of him. Will there be a move here? No, it doesn't look like it. So Hunt still trying to close down that gap. Marku into turn number 2, and followed by the pack behind it is Williamson, Pollard, then Ister, Turker and Zane Khan on the back of this pack. The rest have pulled away now from Chen, who's in 7th, and Defoe in 8th. They have their own battle with Stephen Strudwick. Remember last week I said Strudwick was very good at keeping his nose clean during the race, and then something happened on the final lap which he was able to take advantage of. It looks like a similar plan again by Strudwick, maybe not for so far up the field, but for this battle just in front, it is something he's having to look at. Behind Strudwick, now inside the top 10, is Frederick Surley, the sponsor of this live stream. Filmbil company, who sponsor the live stream, is not on the screen for some reason. Now it is, but they are a company which is there for your car needs when you're filming, whether it be a TV show, a commercial, or just a film. You know, their company is there for you to help, so please get in touch with them if you are interested in anything for that. Back at the front here, we've got Stephen Williams holding off Mikey Pollard, and Alex Ister is still holding off the attentions of Turker and Khan. It's not the easiest thing for him to have to do because the three of them really close together. Zane Khan right back on the rear, has a little look at Turkey down into there. I think that was just more a distraction technique than anything else. But Khan really showing us some pace here today against the regular drivers of the soft race around this Winton circuit. Zane Khan got the experience of racing from go-karts, so this circuit would suit him very much because it is like a little go-kart circuit for these Formula Ford 1600 machines. The Khan just trying to look around the back of Turker as Turker's having a look around the back of Ister. They're keeping in line, and I think the slipstream from Pollard and Williams is just keeping Ister with enough pace to stay ahead. Hickler has served his black flag at the back of the field and will be coming round to be lapped in the next 20 seconds ahead of the field he is, so might get lapped on this race, just depends how it goes. Williams a little bit wide, and Ister, they keep the positions though as they head down towards turn number 1. New fastest lap of race at 25.09 from Jarno Markku, who is just running away with this now, not having to worry about the fights behind. We've seen in the last couple of weeks the two Finns being at the front of the field, but then getting involved in fights which hasn't made them allowed to just clear off and use their pace. But Markku is doing that today, with these 5 battling over the remaining podium positions. And as I say, all being quite sensible for now, waiting to attack later in the race if they get the chance. That is how people got podiums last week. And it's how it could happen again. And it clean around this type of circuit does pay dividends. On board with Mikey Pollard here now, heading down towards that faster second half of the circuit. A little bit wide, gets a better run out, but Williams very good on the throttle there, out on the curb. Pollard staying out of the slipstream of Williams, which is quite interesting, making sure there's a bit of a gap going into the corner in case Williams makes a mistake, but these two don't have an answer at the moment for Markku's pace. Markku is just pulling that gap a little bit by little bit every single lap. A new fastest lap now into the 24s for Markku, the only driver to do so. Ister a little bit closer, actually 2 tenths quicker than this group on the last lap, so he will be certainly getting the slipstream. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's right on the back of them now, so it is a 5-way scrap for second place now. Williams fighting off the attentions of Pollard, but Pollard and Ister teammates in that livery. But will they fight as teammates, or will they? They're normally quite sensible racers. Pollard looking to the inside of Williams, doesn't quite make it through there. Ister now closes up. I think that just set Williams a bit wider. Yes, there's Pollard having a tighter line into a second hairpin, which gives him a tighter line into a third hairpin as well. So it was interesting. You could see there how Pollard turns in a bit earlier than Williams to get that inside corner first, but Williams taking that sweeping line, just carrying the momentum around. Now Pollard is in the slipstream of Williams. Will he have a look into this second to last corner? Not this time. Ister in third, fourth, Turker. Everybody just being very sensible at this mid-stage of a race, just making sure they make moves. Zane Khan looks like the feistiest of them all, as there's another new fastest lap by Markku, knocking a tenth of a second a lap off that lap, not lap record, but that fastest lap of race. And now Williams has stretched that lead a little bit in that final sector this time. Maybe a mistake by Pollard. Is he just losing a little bit of pace due to the setup? Hunt now up into 14th place on his recovery drive. Surly still stuck in 10th. Zane Khan looks to the inside. Turker was able to defend that Khan having let another little nibble at the rear of the Finnish driver. Can he find a way round the outside here? No, there's no chance of that unless the car's getting really slow on the outside, but he's got a good exit out of that corner. And Zane Khan is going to start having a look at the inside of Aussie Turk. He has a look there, he's up the inside. Now can we see if he makes a move? We're on board with Aussie Turk. There's Zane Khan, who actually falls back behind. And now they've lost that group. Has that cost Khan and Turk a chance of getting a podium here today? They get back in line very quickly and are on the slipstream of Ista. So if they can pull themselves back in there, we'll stay on board with Carnival, see if he has a look down into turn number 1. Got the slipstream nicely, breaks that a little bit earlier this time. Oh, Aussie Turker's round off. Aussie Turker off the track, and through goes Zane Khan. What a disaster there for Turker. He just looked like he got distracted by Khan making that move. Tried to carry a little bit more speed because we had seen Khan making that move into turn number 1, or just popping his nose alongside. Maybe it did distract Turker enough to make that mistake, and we'll go back and have a look at that now from Turker's viewpoint. Now this is on board as we did with here we go, on board with Turk, gets it back on the circuit, but make sure it doesn't come back across the track and loses the position to Zane Khan. Now as Zane Khan now got the pace to close that gap, he's out of the slipstream of Alexander Ista, who's just sitting there nicely following his teammate. Pollard is now having a look at Williams himself. These three need to fight to allow Zane Khan and Turk to get back in the fight. Pollard there, just taking the best line he can to get a run on Williams. We've got just over 5 minutes of this race to go. We're probably looking at 3 or 4 more laps. And it's Marku who continues to lead, still setting lap times in the 24. Nobody can match these lap times from Jarno Marku. So it's going to be, without commentator cursing it, it could be a clear victory for Marku here. The main thing to focus on is the battle for the podium between Williams, Pollard and Ista. Khan and Turker look like they might be out of it if these three don't scrap hard. Further behind them, Chen and Defoe, Strudwick and Surly. That rounds out your top 10 ahead of Gallego, Rodriguez, Kalja, Hunt, Rajetsky, Brandt, and that is your top 16. Al Russia, Zane Anwar and Steve Willis, currently the drivers off the back of the field. Steve Willis actually in the pits after retiring earlier on. That is a good exit by Pollard. Oh, Zane Khan all over the exit of that corner. He's managed to hold it. We'll try and have a look back at what happened there for Zane Khan. But that has put Turker back through. Now, has Turker got the pace to gain on these three? There we go. Zane Khan got up on the gravel and just lost the back end, managing to hold it, but losing the position to Turker after all that work he put in to get there. Now, Williams has pulled a little bit of gap. There must have been a mistake by Pollard there. Ista will try and work together to close back in on Williams, but I don't know whether he'll be in a position to try and make a move in terms of just getting the lead, really. It's going to be interesting to find out. Pollard has pulled away through that first sector. See, again, tighter line by Pollard as he closes in on Williams through these S-bends. Is it going to be enough, though, for the Brit to overcome the Welshman, Jake Williams? Car number 1 for Jake Williams, so he is the highest rated in this race. But it's still a great result to get second place because we know the pace Marku has. Both drivers, the whole podium, just over 6k each. So, real skill being shown at the front of this Formula Ford field. It's Williams, then Pollard, then Ista. Who is going to finish on this podium? We've got 2 laps to go this time by, I think. Maybe 3. They might nick the 3rd lap. as across the line goes Marku. He fastest lap of the race at 24.81 for Marku, trying to lower that gap. It's just a continuation of the pace he's shown all race. Nobody else. One other driver got into the 24. Zain Khan last time round, 24.97 on his recovery drive against Turka, and now he's all over the back of Turka once again. Go back and have a look at that now as Defoe gets past Gallego for 10th place. They're side by side further back, but here is Zain Khan. He's caught back up to Aussie Turka. Now he's got a bit of a choice here. Does he sit behind Turka and try and work together, or does he fight, which means they're going to fall back. They're going to fall back into the clutches of Chen, Strudwick and Surly. Maybe not actually into the clutches as in a fight, but they're going to lose the top three drivers. As you can see behind Strudwick and has Surly all over back. Williams and Pollard both running wide in that final corner that time. So both of them almost probably picking up an off track, and Ista is up into still 4th place. So Fortitude taking position there off Jake Williams. I think it may have just been a glitch for Williams transponder. Across the line they come again. Another 24 by Marku. Fastest laps of the race by Williams and Pollard, both on the low 25s. Ista low 25 again. Aussie Turka low 25. This is very fast paced. Chen with a new fastest lap of their race, 25.4. The drivers are getting quicker and quicker as this race goes on, but nobody seems to have an answer for Marku out in front. Williams is right under pressure here by Pollard. Rodriguez has fallen down the order. That must be enough near the start of the lap, but we're going to continue having a look. Very weird off track actually, because it says he's gone off track into the pit lane. Look here, yeah, he's off the track and he goes onto the shorter pit lane and just seems to struggle to get the car going again. Back at the front here, Williams, Pollard and Ista just trying to close in. They know the chance of victory is gone. So does Williams, because Williams is defending down to his final corners of Pollard now. Ista will try and leave the space for Pollard just to swipe back in as he does there. And now it is going to have to be one lap to go for these three. Who is going to finish on the podium? Williams starts to swerve across the slipstream. The white flag is out. There's Barney the flagman in the foreground, showing the white flag to the drivers. Marku has got this in the bag if he keeps it on the circuit, but who will get second place? It is Williams, Pollard and Ista, but Turka and Khan are not that far behind if these start to scrap. I think it might help that Pollard and Ista are there with the same liveries. There's a good chance that they will not fight each other too hard to allow Turka and Khan to get involved. Hunt's off the track near the start of the lap. He's down in 13th. Surly up to 9th, but here we go. Pollard looking to the inside of Williams. Ista looking to the outside of Pollard. This is where the fighting starts. Turka is coming right into this. Turka is still not out of this. He's now in slipstream range. And if anything happens here, Turka will take advantage of it. But Marku is still leading this race. We will not forget about him as he comes towards the line. But this is a battle for the podium. Down towards the end, Williams is covering the inside line, doesn't cover it too much, comes back across. Pollard trying to outbrake him, not going to make it through this time, but it is going to be Jarno Marku who takes the win here at Winton Raceway by a clear 6 seconds. Who's going to be for second? It's going to be Williams from Pollard. Ista and Turka just getting on the back of it. 24.8 on the last lap for Turka, showing his pace throughout the race. Zain Khan coming home in 6th, ahead of Chen, Strudwick and Surly. Have a look a bit further back, Albert Kajela at the home circuit, coming home ahead of Graham Roy Hunt. Walter Brand in 14th place. Last across the line will be Hans Mattel Pitchler, who is a bit further down the order. Just got to come around to finish the lap. Obviously had to head to pit lane early on in this race, which set him back a lot. I think actually running the new Audi livery as well, or a similar livery to the new Audi one. So just coming towards the end of the lap, we'll give him a bit of coverage. Tell Pitchler committed to keep it going and did close the gap. Actually, the pace hasn't been too bad by Pitchler. Managed to get down to a 26.0 during the race. So good pace by the number 18 car, who's going to come home and finish in 18th place, the last finisher across the line. And that is that. The results here in Formula Ford on Monday night. Jarno Marku takes the win by 6.285 seconds ahead of Welshman Jake Williams. Mikey Pollard gets another podium just ahead of his teammate Alexander Ister in fourth. Ossie Turku and Zane Khan had a fierce battle throughout the race for fifth and sixth, and they gapped 5 seconds back to Reid Shen, Stephen Strudwick, and Frederick Surley. Ronald Defoe managed to get the best of Nathaniel Gallego at for the bottom position of the top 10, ahead of Albert Kajela, Graham Hunt, Walter Brand, Marcel Rajiski, Jorge Rodriguez, Enrique Becheville, and Hans Metal Pitchler. Final two finishers were still there, which was Zane Anwar and Steve Willis. So the drivers will now head back to the pits and celebrate what was a tense but close race. But Jarno Marku, who takes the win here today at Winton Raceway. We move on next week to Interlagos, Brazil, the home of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And you will be able to catch a soft race at the same time, same place next week. Goodbye. Bye. Right. There we go, everybody. How was that? Let me... I don't think much happened in that race, actually, to look at, so I have to worry about that too much. Eddie not on tonight. Lights on. Driving around by himself. I know where we'll go. Hey, thank you very much for the support for the stream, and we'll see you next week. Hey, I think it's Interlagos. I'm just going. Yes, Interlagos, Navarra, Silverstone, and Lime Rock. Thanks for the comments. Thank you. Great commenting. And then over 3K off. Brilliant.